Good afternoon, Prof and TAs. Today, we will be discussing the case on how to resolve social loafing in our team. My team consists of Hannah, Nicole, Junyoung, and myself, Esther. Today, we will be reviewing potential reasons for the social loafing within the group, which will be covered by Nicole. Next, Hannah will be covering the different methods to modify the way the team members work so as to ensure more active participation within the group. Lastly, Junyoung will walk you through the solution to this case and conclude with the pros and cons to each alternative. According to the case, our team has hit a roadblock and has been stuck for several months due to a delay in the clinical trial processes, and this has unfortunately led to social loafing within the group. In this case, social loafing refers to the tendency for individuals to expend less effort when working collectively compared to when working alone. Because of this, the team was seen to be putting in less effort and are not as diligent during work. They have also put the blame on the delay in the trial processes and identified it to be the sole reason for the obstruction in progress. There is also a lack of initiative and work ethic, resulting in less communication, cooperation, and innovation between the team members. It has also been observed that there is growing dissatisfaction amongst the team members, whereby top performers have expressed their unhappiness to me. As the team manager, this has caused significant stress, and furthermore, some members have even threatened to leave the company. After laying the foundation, we will now be reviewing the reasons as well as the approach to which we will resolve the situation. I will now hand the time over to Nicole to explain more.
Thanks, Esther. I'll be going through our first question on what could be the reason behind such attitudes from some team members and how could this issue be resolved. Some potential reasons behind social loafing are the diffusion of responsibility, the lack of social identity, dynamics due to status, and large team sizes. There is a diffusion of responsibility because group results cannot be attributed to any single member. Individuals may be tempted to become free riders and coast on the group's efforts, since no one will be able to tell whether or not they latch onto the efforts of their team members. The resolution is to clearly define each individual's roles and responsibilities in relation to the group's common purpose. When managers can identify the individual's efforts via the completion of their responsibilities, members will be less tempted to free ride as they can no longer pass off as simply participating. Our social identities help us understand who we are and where we fit in with other people. To experience good outcomes, we need to feel that our social identities are positive. Due to certain members of the team having an individualist culture that is dominated by self-interest, they have a lack of social identity. These individuals are not motivated by group goals and thus engage in social loafing since they are not motivated to contribute positively to the team. A lack of social identity comes about when there is no climate of trust within the team due to disparity of efforts between team members. When there is no trust, members feel as though they need to continuously monitor one another's behavior and constantly be alert in case their team member takes advantage of them. As such, no climate of trust within the team brings about a lack of social identity, which results in social loafing. The resolution is to firstly, set group goals so that the group has a common purpose to strive towards. This will make it easier for everyone to have a goal they seek to achieve, which enhances motivation within the team. Secondly, foster a strong social identity within the team such that the culture becomes more collectivist and will be motivated by these goals. This can be done through team bonding activities and encouraging relationship building outside of work. Dynamics due to status can cause resentment within the collective team. High status, in this case, are attributed to the top performers, while the lower performers have low status. According to the status theory, the top performers are awarded high status because, firstly, this individual's ability to contribute to the team goals are much higher than the lower performers. A team's performance is reliant on the knowledge, skills, and abilities of individual members. Abilities set limits on what members can do and how effectively they will perform on a team. Hence, since lower skilled members cannot contribute as much, they will piggyback on the top performers. Also, the top performers' input are positively valued by the group. Top performers generally become more assertive when they seek higher status in a team. They are more outspoken and interrupt others more. Hence, they will dominate discussions over lower status members. This in turn causes lower status members to participate less actively in group discussions. The resolution is to introduce the nominal group technique and smaller sub-teams to encourage the lower status to speak up and participate more actively. This will make it easier for everyone in the team to participate in the project because they are discussing amongst a smaller pool of people now. The team should also ask for everyone's opinions regularly to ensure everyone is actively participating. Large team sizes result in social loafing because smaller groups are better at being productive. When there are too many members in a group, it will be harder to collectively come together to work on a project, as it is not only harder to set a time to meet, but there are too many personalities and opinions coming together. Furthermore, the bigger the group, the longer group decision takes. There are more internal conflicts and pressures to conformity, which may dampen performance. Group discussions are also more likely to be dominated by a few more outspoken members and top performers, reducing the group's overall effectiveness. The opinions and contributions of those who are more introverted will be neglected, giving rise to social loafing. The resolution is to create subgroups within the collective team, where the top performers are dispersed within these groups. The team size becomes smaller, which increases performance, and the cons from the clustering of high-status individuals are reduced. Now, I'll be passing my time to Hannah to explain our second question.
Thank you, Nico. Now, on to what changes we can make about the way the team functions to ensure more active participation from all team members. The first change we would make to the team would be to create subgroups within the larger group. In these subgroups, we would ensure that the high status members have been dispersed, because research has shown that group performance suffers when too many high status members are in the same group. This is because high status members tend to speak out, criticize, and even interrupt others more. Hence, we want to ensure that there is a good mix between different status members within all the subgroups, so that there is less pressure for lower status members to conform and censor themselves. In this way, we hope to create a more open and welcoming environment that will generate more active participation. Once the subgroups have been established, we will encourage competition between them. The competition will be focused on a shared group outcome. Competition amongst groups with successes for some and failures for others is directly linked to social identity theory. Generally, people strive for a positive social identity. They want to be part of teams that are special or positively distinct from other groups. Having intergroup competition that focuses on the larger group's goals will motivate team members to engage in strategies or behavior to achieve a positive social identity, whilst also achieving the larger group's goals. For example, having a competition to come up with the most efficient way to conduct a clinical trial. Of course, groups that succeed will have high confidence in themselves, also known as high team efficacy in OB, where past successes motivate future successes and hence drive the team to work harder. On the other hand, for unsuccessful teams, research has shown that in the case of intergroup competition, people don't disassociate themselves readily from an unsuccessful group. This is because there is potential for their group's position to change in the future. Thus, despite being unsuccessful, they will be motivated to improve their group's position. And so, competition that is linked to achieving the firm's goals will be motivating for all participating groups and foster more active participation between members. As mentioned by Esther, at present, there is an issue in the clinical trial process that is causing some kind of delay. Social loafing is occurring within our team, and there is no initiative being taken to come up with a solution. Clearly, a creative solution is needed to fix the clinical trial problem, and conventional methods such as the interactive group method have not worked out thus far. This could be due to the high status members dominating the conversation, which discourages lower status members from speaking up. Thus, we wish to make use of the nominal group method. This method will encourage lower status members to speak up and also generate a large number of ideas that may help the problem being faced in the clinical trial process. The third change we will make is a structure overhaul of the group, which consists of 4 steps. Step 1 is to set the team's goals, ensuring that they are specific, measurable, and realistic. This is so that the team has a clear sense of what needs to be done and how via shared mental models. The specific goals will then help the team to focus on getting results and facilitate clear communication. Step 2 is to define roles. To increase the likelihood of the team members working well together, we will allocate members roles based on their individual strengths and preferred styles. It is also essential that members are clear on what they are individually and jointly responsible for, whilst ensuring that the workload is shared. Step 3 is to create individual and subgroup performance metrics with a reward system. This is so that individual effort will be monitored, thus deterring social loafing. To ensure that the focus of the group is on the collective and not individual, a hybrid reward system will be used where both individual contributions and positive group outcomes will be rewarded. Step 4 is to make group members conscious of their individual effort. This will be done in 2 ways. The first, publicly posting individual performance ratings for group members, and the second, engaging in peer evaluations. Why does this help? Well, when people are made conscious of their behavior, or they know others are watching and tracking, the abuse of their roles can be limited. Essentially, the more conscious you make someone of the fact that you know they're abusing their position, the more likely they will stop this abuse due to shame and embarrassment. And in our case, stop or be deterred from social loafing. Bringing it all together, the benefits of this 4-step process include: the first, by clearly setting the team's goals, the group will have a common purpose to strive towards. The second, with redefined individual roles, members will be assigned responsibilities based on their strengths, and all members will be clear on who is responsible for what. The third, the hybrid reward system will ensure that individual effort of members can be tracked, thus deterring social loafing and encouraging participation because positive group outcomes will be rewarded. And lastly, making members conscious of their effort, or in our case, lack of effort, will encourage more active participation from those that do not contribute. Next, Chunyong will walk you through our final question.
Now bring us through to question 3. Essentially, in this question, we are a new manager and we have to decide between resolving the situation internally or reporting the case towards a general direction for possible disciplinary action. Firstly, the pros of taking this into my own hands as a leader is that I will have presence as a leader by solving the problem by myself. Firstly, I will be able to have immediate presence in the team as their leader. Having presence as a leader is important because it sends the message that you are to be listened to. Presence is so important that it is featured in Harvard Business Review, where it was found that leaders who exude a larger visibility in a group projects their ability to have mature self-confidence, a sense that you can take control of difficult and unpredictable situations. Secondly, it builds trust in the team. This is because by communicating to the social loafers about their lack of participation in private instead of ratting them out to the other authorities, it tells the team that I am a leader that can be trusted and I can have honest conversations with this leader. Trust is especially important in work environments because research shows that highly trusted workplaces enjoy a 50% higher employee productivity, 106% more energy at work, and 13% fewer sick days. However, there are many downsides of taking things into my own hands. Firstly, if I were to come into the organization and immediately take disciplinary action against those social loafers, it will give me a bad reputation as a leader. And moving forward, the team may develop more counterproductive work behaviors, such as stealing from the workplace instead. As a leader, your reputation is your most valuable asset. A strong reputation makes it easier to earn respect from your peers and get work done. Additionally, coming in as a new manager, I will naturally have less credibility as a leader from the lens of the workers who have probably not worked with me before. Thus, they may take my authority not so seriously as opposed to reaching out to a more recognized disciplinary department. Therefore, they may continue with their usual behavior of not being productive members of the team. Then there is the other alternative, which is to report the case to a general direction and make them face the consequences of not pulling their weight. The advantage of this alternative is speed. By being able to outsource the punishment to these members, I will naturally be able to move past the issue and focus on the task at hand. Secondly, it will give the remaining motivated members the space to work without non-contributory members disrupting their work, thus allowing them to focus and get the job done. Lastly, by punishing the social loafers or free riders, the precedence is set to the other members. It sends the message that if you do not pull your weight, you will end up having to face the consequences from this particular department, and this will set the team to conscientiously contribute to the team instead of falling behind. However, there will be definite consequences of reporting the social loafers to other departments, namely, there will be a dilution of control by delegating the task of correction to other departments, and I may not have a say in the outcome of these members. Additionally, there will be low morale within the group. By punishing the free riders in this team, the team morale will be even lower because there will be a fear of being punished. This low morale can lead to lesser productivity as members of the team. Lastly, this action may result in fault lines happening. Fault lines occur when there is a perceived division that splits group into two or more subgroups based on their individual differences. In this case, it is between highly motivated members and lowly motivated members. Ultimately, we want to solve the root problems of the issue, and here are some of the root problems that we have identified as the manager. Firstly, the morale of the team is low. And secondly, the highly motivated members are overloaded and are on the brink of leaving the company. As such, there is a need to find a fast and effective change to make sure that this issue is resolved as quickly as possible. Therefore, we recommend to raise the team morale by resolving the conflict internally. Our immediate course of action is to talk to these social loafers and firstly get them to understand that they are underperforming and then showing them how they can perform better. This is because we need to build that climate of trust within the firm and make it clear how they can contribute to the team. Next, we will raise the team morale by giving them positive feedback on the things that they have done right. Giving positive appraisals is important because it shows a motivating factor under Herzberg's two-factor theory, which then can translate to greater productivity. Lastly, we will set a clear objective for each of these employees to work towards, so that they have a clear idea of what they should be striving for collectively. Of course, in the long run, we need a solution that can keep the motivation up over the long period. So, like what Hannah mentioned, a hybrid reward system can be used to maintain the motivation within the group. With that, we have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you for your attention.